A toasty Thomas's brekkie. Oh.
Hang on, I got a couple of pesky ads to watch, unfortunately. And we are live. Now to bring the scene over to the game, there's the game, and there I am. Alright, so... So for this one, let's clean the dirt bike and then clean the bungalow. Hang on, let me move the game over so I can see the preview of OBS. There we go. Alright. Back in the familiar garage. And I think I have enough for the next power washer, so let's see if I do. I do, lad. Let's get that and that. There we go. Wonder how you're meant to clean a dirt bike. I imagine there's a lot of sensitive bits that if they got wet or something, then you gotta replace it. Let's do the front here. This one's a pretty simple clean. Compared to the playground, which took over 2.5 hours to do. I didn't want it to go that long, but that's how it is. That's how it went, basically. Alright, engine, rear fender, and a sprocket. Maybe this bike has one of those Spacely sprockets. For those who got that reference, then well, good for you. Right, now what part is the sprocket? I think I saw it for a split second. Now, where is the sprocket? Oh. Is this it? I saw a sprocket for a split second. Oh. Ah, there it is. There we are. Simple clean. And the first one with the new pressure washer, or power washer. Alright, now for the bungalow. Let's start with the front of the bungalow first. And if I need to do the back, I'll do that next. You know, with a lot of these, it makes you wonder how they let something like this be, well, in this condition. Let's finish up the driveway. See if I can do more with the green nozzle. Didn't mean to do that.
You don't have to be a VIP to get more than just savings with Geico.
Silence ad. There we go. Alright, now let's do the front here. Here we are. Now to finish up the rest of this. Alright, now for the gutter. We'll do the outside of the house first, and then after that do the roof and the inside of the gutter. back here. Alright, now for the back patio. You know, the other day I was thinking of the Has-Been Hotel and the Hell of a Boss ideas for this game, but it's not very likely that they would actually be part of the game since, well, this doesn't really go for the adult part of things, and Silence Ad. So, if by a very slim chance that there was a Hell of a Boss map, I imagine that it would be like power washing the IMP van. Not sure about the Has-Been Hotel part though. That one's a bit of a not really one that's that doesn't really have much plan to it. Aside from power washing the lobby of the hotel. So a lot of this is outside of places, and I think the Hasbro Hotel would be too big to do that. Unless there's a job that I haven't unlocked yet that takes place inside of somewhere. Inside of a building. Right, there's that. Here we go. Tiny spots here. There's that. Here we go. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Peter. Forget about this section. Let's fix that. Dad decides to show up. Hopefully it's one I can skip. But given how there's non-skippable ads, it's not very likely that the next ad will be skippable. Check around here and make sure I got everything on this level. Okay, looks like it. So now let's head on to the roof and finish up. Right, that's it for the gutter. Right, that's the chimney done. See if I can hit it with the white nozzle. Yeah, it looks like it. This ought to make things a little bit easier. So the white novel isn't good for moss. At least the green one is. Let's see what I need for the next power washer. 2,000 with 40 stars. Alright. So I have another goal to work towards. Hang on, was there a fourth one? Yeah, there is. 5,000 with 90 stars.
Where'd this come from?
Pantry.
Shut. And these are ads that I can't skip. At least that one I could. Alright. Alright, so I got 3 more tasks to do. And I'm already working on the bungalow roof, so that'll be done in a bit. Now for 3 posts. Ah, here's one. Right, 2 more to go. And then there was one. Ah, here we go. And there we go. I still imagine during these time lapse that the Benny Hill, or not Benny Hill, the King of the Hill intro starts to play. Alright. Now for the golf cart. This one's gonna be an easy job. there. It's going pretty well. There we are. Another job done. Silence ad. There we go. At least that one I could skip. Alright. Let's do it. Let's start off with the driveway. This is my third stream of Power Washing Simulator. Oh, is it? Alright, hang on. Let's see if I can change that. Let's see here. Audio, here we go. Let's try there. How's that? Oh, let's bring down the background volume there. Okay, how's that? Is that any better? Okay. Okay, how's that? You gotta be more confident, though. Well, that's basically just how I am. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I adjusted something on the mic, so it should be more loud now. Okay, good. Right. There's that. Now for the front of the house. Then work my way around. It's just a YouTube video that I have playing for the background that's 12 hours of copyright-free music. It's nothing of my own design. Yeah, but you never be too careful with licensed music. At least as far as I know. There's a few streamers that I watch that one does Beat Saber that has a lot of copyrighted music. And it's a wonder how they didn't get the DMCA on them.
I'm not really one for the spotlight, but there is some gravy to be had.
Quiet ad. At least that was one of the few ads that were skippable.
Oh shit!
A follower.
Hey, thanks for the follow, whoever that was.
A follower.
I don't know if that was a repeat or if somebody else followed me. Haven't really gotten the chatbot to fix that. And also say who just followed. Okay. If you're still here, that is. Keep it to you as a surprise for the person review. Never heard of it being called that. Oh, okay. That's what I frequently do with in these streams, since a lot of the times nobody comes to the streams, so I basically talk to myself 80 if not 90% of the streams. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, take care, James Alley. And for the record, that message that just showed up wasn't me typing that. That's the bot that I accidentally put the same name as me. So sorry about the confusion there. If you're still here. let's just use that and continue. For the longest time, I've had Power Wash Simulator on my Steam wishlist, and it wasn't until recently that I was able to get the game along with 5 other games. So maybe at one point I'll stream those games too. Right now I'm playing through Shadow Warrior 2 for the first time. And it's and very likely stream my first experience with it. So that'll be something. Provided the game could be played as a single player, not as a co-op, since a lot of my friends on my Steam list don't, well, as far as I know, don't have Fallout 76, so even if I did get the game, they might not have it. Similar to, well, I probably say about Genshin Impact, since, well, a lot of my friends don't really play gacha games as far as I know. And on Genshin Impact, there's what's called a Serenity Pod, and one of the, I'm not sure if you would call it a challenge or what, but there's like these different things you could do to unlock decorations for the Serenity Pod, which there's one that has been eluding me for quite some time, which was buy something from someone else's Serenity Pod. So when I first heard of that, I thought that I could just enter a random person's Serenity Pod and get that challenge done. But unfortunately, as I did some research, I found that that's only available if one of your friends has a Serenity Pod, which it shows that only one of my online friends has the game, but hasn't played it in a very long time and hasn't unlocked the Serenity Pod, so for many years that challenge has been eluding me. Oh, we got a scammer, so be gone, scammer, and get the banhammer. So yeah, for many years that challenge, if you want to call it that, for the Serenity Pod has been eluding me due to that, which it would have been much better if you could join a random person's Serenity Pod and buy something from that during the weekend, what's it called? A lot of things in Genshin Impact would be better if it wasn't leaning more towards pay-to-win players, which I saw in a video about Genshin Impact that Hoyoverse has been leaning more towards pay-to-win players than free-to-play players like myself. So a lot of it was like the content would be for pay-to-win players and not free-to-play players, like, as I just said myself. Which is also from what I saw in a video, has been pushing a lot of players away from Genshin Impact because of Hoyoverse playing favorites with the pay-to-win players than anyone. Right, I'll be back in just a minute.
AI is transforming customer service. It's obvious we know that. The leader in the category is our product, Finn. It's best in the benchmarks, it wins in the bake-offs, and it's number one on G2. And this is with highly complex queries. We now have customers in the 90% resolution rates. We back that all up with the Finn $1 million guarantee.
Silence ad. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah. Let me see if I can lower this down to make the mic less sensitive. Because for some reason it's probably picking up the fan in another room. So that's why it's the PNG tuber's mouth is open much more frequently than it usually is. I guess for now I'll have that hidden. Actually, let's just turn off the program entirely. You know, the opening to the music that's playing right now, it reminded me of the opening to the song Where Dragons Rule by Dragon Force. And that was one of their first songs that I've heard. And around that time, there was a video of screenshots of the dragon from Shrek with that song playing. And that was the first time I was exposed to that song, which I probably should have worded that better, but oh well. And then later on, I also discovered another one of their songs that's one of their well-known songs called Through the Fire and the Flames. And to this day, those are the only two Dragon Force songs that I've heard of. And then, sometime later, back when either Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne was new, I was looking at videos on how to be overpowered in Dark Souls 3, and I came across a lot of videos that played songs from a German band called Powerwolf, and the first of their songs that I heard that introduced me to the band was one of their songs called In the Name of God, and what was another one? Blessed and Possessed, and Incense and Iron, and Higher Than Heaven. That was another one of theirs. And there's another band that I came across from another video. That's a Swedish band called Sabaton, and their songs are focused on historical events like World War I with the Red Baron, and that one is called just Red Baron. What's another? The Bismarck is another one of theirs. And what's another one? There was one that was about the Holy Crusades, which I don't remember off the top of my head. Oh wait, I think it was called The Last Crusade or something like that. And that was like my introduction to the band. And for the record, I'm not sponsored by any of them, so I'm just talking about them. And hopefully it doesn't come back and bite me like my decisions usually do, as depressing as that may sound. I'm just telling you the songs that I've heard and my first exposure with them.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is.
Shut. No ads allowed in my streams. few of the web shows that I've been watching as of late was Hell of a Boss with its the most recent shorts, and soon I'll be, provided I'm able to, I'll see what the next episode of The Amazing Digital Circus is about. And judging by the thumbnail, they're on some kind of gunfighting adventure. At least that's what Kane calls them. So I don't know what it's about yet. Maybe in tomorrow's stream I'll, provided I got to watch that episode of The Amazing Digital Circus, I'll probably say a little bit about it, but not, and if I spoil something that was completely unintentional. And earlier today, there was a little preview for the next short of Hell of a Boss, which I don't really get the full context of it, but it showed someone that looked like Crimson, but I saw in the comments for that preview, and it was Moxie. So I'm not sure what the preview entails, I guess the word would be, but well, when it comes out, I think it's said that it's gonna be releasing next month. I'll have a look and see what that was about. And as I've said in this stream and in previous streams, I haven't watched the episodes of Hazbin Hotel. The only one I've seen was the pilot episode from a long time ago. So I've been a bit out of the loop in terms of that, but I do know, like, Vox and Valentino, and I think one of them, his name is Velvet? Or is it something else with a V? And I think they call themselves the V Trio, but I could be wrong about that. Which is very likely, considering, as I just said, I only seen the pilot episode for Hazbin Hotel, so there's that. We do have Amazon Video, but it doesn't really seem like it's... I'm not sure what the word would be, but it's... seems like a waste of space to have an entire streaming service on there just to watch one show. And I know Hell of a Boss will be soon added to Amazon Video, but I got YouTube to watch the new episodes, so there's that. And I did have Amazon Video installed, but it was to watch a anime called Dragon Goes House Hunting. But unfortunately, that was only a purchase or a rental. It wasn't a free show to watch like Hazbin Hotel is. So after that little discovery, I declared it a waste of time and uninstalled the Amazon Video. I know there was other shows on there, but Dragon Goes House Hunting was one of the ones that I researched that it was on there and found out that it was one of those things you gotta pay for. So that was a bit of a waste of time on my part. Okay, I'm halfway done and over the hour and a half mark, so with any luck I'll be able to do this before the 2.5 mark, like when I cleaned up the playground, which took much longer than I thought it was going to. And extended stream times is good, but not so much when everyone else is using it. When everyone else is using the Wi-Fi, so I like to stream more, but it's not really worth getting yelled at because of it. So when it gets to the 2-hour mark, and if I'm not done with this, I'll call it a stream and then finish the rest of this on my own time.
And ladies, if you ever oversleep,
Silence ad.
shortcut.
You know, I'd prefer the ads to be skippable to the ones that you can't skip, since being forced to watch a stream, or not streams, watching ads is a little too much. I mean, it's good for promoting business, but not so much when it's forced upon you. Like, there were a few times when I was watching a stream on Twitch and there were like 8 ads back to back. And I'm not even joking when I said that. I had to go through 8 ads to go watch a stream. And some of you are probably saying, oh, why don't you subscribe to the stream so you don't get the ads? Yeah, well, I would, but it's... well, to put it mildly, I'm can't really afford the stream subscription, so for that I would have to have someone gift me a sub. And all of you are probably saying, oh, why don't you get a job so you can get money? Well, I tried that for... I don't even know how long, and all I got were the same answers, basically. There were a couple of jobs that I applied to that I was basically left on red. And there were times where I get a reply back and they said that they found someone more qualified for the job. And, well, for personal reasons now, I can't find one. So back then, when I was looking for a job, and couldn't find one, I just gave up on looking for a job. And this was maybe 20 years ago? Wait, no. Maybe 10 years ago? 15 years ago? I don't... Wait, no, it shouldn't be... It wasn't 15 years ago. It was more like, maybe 10 or 9 years ago. I did that. Got a new job, but that'll wait until tomorrow's stream, since I'm going to be doing more of this tomorrow. And maybe I'll do one more week of Power Washing Simulator. Is this a map where an active volcano is in the distance? Doesn't seem like it. I think the backyard one is was so far the only one that had a active volcano in the background. There may be other areas that has the active volcano in the background. Oh, I thought the video was over. Not just yet. Okay, sorry for the random silence. I'm just waiting for one of the dogs to stop barking at nothing. Which he does pretty frequently. Whether it's making videos or streaming, then he tends to bark, which makes me have to turn off the mic until he stops. Okay, we're 65 done with this, so... And it's almost at the 2-hour mark, so unfortunately I'll have to end the stream soon and finish this up on my own time. Streaming this for 2.5 hours last time wasn't really intentional, but that's what happened, and well, and since there were other people that used your net, it didn't really bode well. And I was also reminded that when we move, at some point, our internet will be slower than what we're than what's being used now. So if I am able to stream with that, I won't be able to stream as frequent as, or should I say for as long as, most likely over 2 hours, if not an hour and a half. So when we move, it might complicate things in terms of streaming, but we're just gonna have to wait and see, whenever that may be. Some of the music in this video remind me of Minecraft, since a lot of the music sounds pretty similar to what would be played on Minecraft. Oh, with the glare over there, I thought it was like a police car. With this as one of the games that I got using with permission from my dad, I got this, Shadow Warrior 2, as I mentioned playing before during the stream, Code Vein, and System Shock the remake, and System Shock 2, the 25th year anniversary enhanced edition, as well as Cyberpunk 2077, which when I get around to playing that game, I might do a stream or two of it, provided there's no things that are sensitive to Twitch or YouTube when I decide to upload that highlight to there. You know, people were saying that oh, with the ID verification AI, YouTube is shooting itself in the foot, which is very likely. But I haven't really noticed that whole ID verification thing. But I get the feeling that one day I'll watch a video and it'll say like I would need to verify my ID to watch the video. Which, as I just said, I haven't noticed much of a difference in that. I thought it was like an immediate thing. but it's very likely that I haven't stumbled upon it yet. Okay, we're nearly done with the house, but unfortunately it's getting closer to the 2-hour mark, so as much as I'd like to keep going, I physically can't. So when it hits 2 hours, I'll gonna have to call it a stream there. And then I'll finish the rest of this house on my own time, as I've mentioned before. Whoops. Didn't mean to fall down here. So let's finish up this part of the roof, and then on my own time do that roof and the main roof and everything else. And whoop. Hang on, can I put my ladder over here? Yeah, I can. Alright. So I can get here. Now to bring it back over here and finish up the roof. At least this part of the roof, anyway. I'm expecting there to be an ad to play, and thankfully there wasn't. Alright. I'll at least start this. There we go. Dobby Downer? There we go. Alright. Now for here. Okay, it's nearing the 2-hour mark, so with that, I'll call it a stream here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream, and if you did, be sure to come follow me if you haven't already, and I'll be sure to make more. And also, come subscribe to my YouTube channel, which I'll put in the chat right here. Once I actually get the right command in, here we go. And from there, you can... I make videos from Monday to Thursdays over on YouTube, and I stream on Wednesdays as well as on Sundays here on Twitch, if I have the chance. And also, come subscribe to my Stream Archives channel, which will be in the chat here once I get the right command in. There we go. And from there, you can see most of the streams that I haven't deleted over the years due to Twitch's new addition to the platform, which, to those who don't know, it limits how many highlights you can have at a time. And if your total streams is over 100 hours, or at 100 hours, then you can't make any more highlights until it's under that 100-hour limit. So, with that, stay home, stay safe, and until next time, later haters.